And, on that note, obviously, in a fantasy world, you are kind of looking at these guys as numbers. So, what are your emotions when you think of like a guy as a guy, when you have to analyze them as what they're producing on the field? How do you kind of separate that? Because I know you personally. I know you're not just screw this guy as a person, whatever.
Right.
How do you separate that? Because that's difficult. I hated that part of the fantasy life.
Yeah, I mean it's hard, right? And I think the thing we sort of have to say is, I mean it sort of sounds trite, right? But a guy gets hurt. Look, Kirk Cousins tears his Achilles, or Daniel Jones
Ruin
tears his
my fantasy
ACL.
team.
Hey man, look, I have a team that has Aaron Rodgers, Anthony Richardson, and Kirk Cousins. I've lost 3 quarterbacks on one roster in a season. And so but the human side of you is like, yeah, man, this sucks, right? Kirk Cousins, this is his life, this is his career. He has put so much emotion into this. And so to have that taken away from a human standpoint, it does suck. But I think you sort of learn to compartmentalize in the sense of injuries are a part of the game. No matter what sport you play, injuries are a part of the game. And, especially in football, they always like to say next man up because, Kirk Cousins is hurt. The Vikings don't get to just stop playing, right? They don't get to postpone games until Kirk's ready to go. They got to find somebody to move in there. And so I think when we come to analyze it, you try to have that sympathy of like, hey man, Kirk, best of luck, man. I hope you heal up. We want to see you back out there soon. But also realizing that the Vikings have another game, that fantasy folks, they've got to figure out what to do. And so you
And
sort
they're
of try to
depending on you
balance.
too for that, which is crazy.
Yeah, and I'll say this. I have an easier time doing it with injuries because injuries are a part of the game, right?
Yeah.
Like you understand, especially in a sport that's as violent as football, you understand that that's going to happen as much as it sucks. The ones that are harder for me are the ones involving, off-field things, right?
Mhm.
When you have players that are suspended for
TV.
domestic violence or, just really awful things off the field, that's one that's a little bit harder because uh, those are real life things that don't have anything to do with football. Daniel Jones getting hurt, it's unfortunate, but it's a part of the game. But
Right.
somebody who's suspended because they got in a domestic violence dispute with a spouse or a partner. And you're reading the stories about what may have happened, or you're seeing photos of the aftermath of that sort of thing. Those are the ones that are harder for me. When a guy gets suspended and immediately there's people in my Twitter mentions saying, "So who do I go pick up now?" And I'm just
Yeah.
like, yeah, that's one I've never really gotten over. That always makes me a little bit queasy. I tend to either I will take a beat before I make any sort of comment, or depending if it's bad enough, that might just be, hey, you're on your own to kind of figure this one out because I just don't feel comfortable talking about it.
Good for you. And I'm very proud of you for doing that.